Norman had been connected through an organization called the Robin Hood Foundation. He'd seen lots of great mission-driven schools around the country, and he wanted to replicate some of their best practices. So we went into New York City and we visited Dave Levin at the KIPP Academy, which was just getting started in the Bronx, and studied what he was doing. We visited a man named Brother Brian, who had De La Salle Academy on the Upper West Side in Harlem, and we saw what he did to build community. And we also learned valuable lessons from some other schools that were struggling and having problems, and we could see what struggles they faced so we could try to be preemptive in our design and not fall into those same difficulties around curriculum or preparation for the students, really knowing who your student body was coming in. After we studied those, we put together our proposal for the state around those two pillars of community and rigorous academics. We built out a program. We would have on the community side, our kids would wear uniforms so they could all be part of the same team. We'd start every day with a ritual we call Community Circle. We would talk about core values of caring, respect, responsibility, justice that would guide our community. We would hold each other accountable to the best behavior and being the most successful we could for our kids. On the academic side, we had a longer day. We had a longer school year. We set really high standards and expectations for what the students would be learning at school. We were going to hire the very best teachers and build the most rigorous curriculum we could so our kids could be prepared to go to and through college. The Community Circle ritual is one that has kind of an interesting story. Norman in his work through Robin Hood had been to these mission-driven schools all over the country and seen different best practices. One he saw out in Milwaukee was the kids were mostly African-American, so they would take out a set of djembe drums, and to begin the day they would play the drums to call the community together, a tradition of West Africa. So we took that element, and I had had a community meeting, community circle at my school where I was principal previously, and I had watched a bunch of things on the civil rights. In particular, had watched some movies where the Black Panthers were organizing in Oakland, and they would bring people out into a big park and they would do chants together to motivate people towards their mission. So we began to develop some chants that we called the call response, using the traditional West African ritual of the caller, and then the response comes back. And so we tried to integrate our values and our purpose. So who are you? I'm a star. I shine brightly for others, tying into the school's name, North Star. And why are you here? To get an education. Why else? To be the great person I am meant to be. And so we built out these traditions and rituals that would start the day every day. The drums would call the circle together. We would stand in a big circle. And then together I would tell a folk tale, or Norman would tell a folk tale with a moral message. We'd let the kids interpret the message and how it was relevant to, early 1990s, turn of the century Newark, and how they could apply the values of this folk tale to their own situation. So that's how we did sort of character development and inculcated the values into our school community.